I have never heard an even approximately adequate explanation of the horror at Martin's Beach. Despite the large number of witnesses, no two accounts agree, and the testimony taken by local authorities contains the most amazing discrepancies. Perhaps this haziness is natural in view of the unheard-of character of the horror itself, the almost paralytic terror of all who saw it, and the efforts made by the fashionable Wavecrest Inn to hush it up after the publicity created by Professor Alton's article, Are Hypnotic Powers Confined to Recognized Humanity? Against all these obstacles, I am striving to present a coherent version, for I beheld the hideous occurrence and believe it should be known in view of the appalling possibilities it suggests. Martin's Beach is once more popular as a watering place, but I shudder when I think of it. Indeed, I cannot look at the ocean at all now without shuddering. That is The Horror at Martin's Beach by H.P. Lovecraft and Sonia H. Green. Greetings, Cyclopeans. My name is Dan.
I'm still Tom.
And without further ado, we're going to get right into comics tonight.
Okay. Well, I only got one with me this week because I'm saving most of it for my actual comic reviews on the site. But I picked Death of X by Charles Soule and Jeff Lemire. And the X-Men and the Inhumans in Marvel Comics have been not getting along now for quite some time. This is kind of a 4-issue miniseries to bridge the 8-month gap post-Secret Wars of why exactly some of the X-Men aren't around and why the tensions between the Inhumans and the mutants exist. And picks up with Cyclops and his team getting a distress call from one of their mutant research facilities. And upon arrival, they discover everyone who worked there, because they were all mutants, is dead. And they don't know what did it, they don't know how it happened, but every single mutant there is dead.
The Thing.
And they kill off Jamie Madrox, Multiple Man, who's not really a prominent X-Man, but he's a pretty well-known, long-standing member of the team, so he's dead right off the bat. And it's the other side of the story is you witness the Inhumans watching the Terrigen mist spread around the world and new Inhumans start cropping up. And the two stories are separate for right now, but the ending of it, you very much get the feeling it's going to all collide very soon. And it's a fun start to things, and it's a nice explanation because I've been wondering where Cyclops has been ever since X-Men started back up. He's just gone. And it's written by Charles Soule, who is doing the Uncanny Inhuman series, and Jeff Lemire, who is currently doing the Extraordinary X-Men series. So it's nice to see that it's not being handed to someone who isn't involved with either of the two franchises, that it's actually being co-written by the authors of the flagship brands, respectively, for Inhumans and X-Men.
Cool.
And I think it's a pretty nice way to kick things off. Not too bright of a future outlook for some of the X-Men, but I thought it was a good start, and I'll definitely be picking up the rest of the miniseries when it comes out.
Would you like to see them do more of this stuff in the movies?
That's why it kills me that Marvel has so many of its rights missing. There's just, you're never going to see, well, I won't say never, but the X-Men and the Inhumans would make a great movie, or the X-Men and whoever would make a great movie, and there's just so many of these things because Fox owns the rights to a lot of it, Sony owns the rights to some of it, and Marvel, someone at Marvel was kicking themselves for selling all these movie rights years ago. And but I really think, and I will say though, the last couple X-Men movies have been much better, and I think it's a shame we're never going to get to watch the X-Men in at least the near future interact with the Avengers.
No, not.
Or
well, if they can get Wolverine done, out of the way, cleaned up, maybe we'll see them go back in and start X-Men again. But I don't know. I don't know. You almost feel like they're
well, you don't need Wolverine. That's the whole point. There's so many X-Men you can do.
Well, I mean, they want to get him out of the way though. That's the big.
It's
old man Logan right now, and they want to move that out of the way. And hopefully, I'd like to see him go right into these hard comics like you're covering here. More of these things. What are the comics looking at? Is that it for this week? Or?
That's all I got. The rest of them I'm going to do in my weekly review because they're Superman and Action Comics and all that. But that was the one that stood out this week as something fun to review for the fans.
Cool. We got X-Men's never a loser. I love X-Men. I'm not complaining about it. Just you like to see more and more X-Men. There's so many directions you can go with it. Well, I got into Conan the Slayer again. I'm on issue number 3 this week. The first one was pretty much introducing Conan to the new storyline, mostly humans. The second one is going to be slight introduction to monsters. The storyline begins to turn. It's typical Conan. People start screwing each other over for gold and treasure and glory. In the third one, the monsters appear. In this one I'm reading now, Conan the Slayer, again by Cullen Bunn, Sergio Davila, and Michael.
And is that not a total... Like, that is a Conan poster.
That's a Conan poster.
It's almost like a Frazetta painting.
Yeah, we're looking at the cover here, and it's got the Conan, somebody pushing the monster on Conan, and the monster's coming full bore. And it's just typical Conan, sorcery, blood, monsters, just great stuff. I love this, and it doesn't disappoint. It's a lot of fun. Art's great. Storyline's going right along. Typical Conan. Highly recommend this if you haven't gotten into the Conan series. Might still be time to pick up 1 and 2. I don't think they're sold out, or you can get them on Kindle or whatever. I'm also reading Star Wars Shattered Empire. This is an older one, which you actually got me.
Yep.
And this is great. The Shattered Empire has 2 big stories in it. It's starts off with the introduction of Poe Dameron, I think, is brought into this one.
No.
Did I say not Poe?
No, it's a Resistance
he's
pilot.
In here. I think he's mentioned in here. And
this is right after Jedi ends. Poe is not even born yet.
I swear I saw his post something in here. Well, okay, I apologize, listeners, if that's not the case. But anyway, it's a great story. It's right after Jedi. It's what happened to the Broken Empire. They're trying to the remnants are trying to get back together and kick some butt. And there's our rebel friends are still trying to clean things up. And it's a lot of fun. Very very good action. A lot of good fight scenes. A lot of cool technology. And in this issue, they also put. I reviewed it. And I may have mentioned post. I do apologize. That was an error. They also include here the original Star Wars. They reprinted it and put it in the in this issue.
Yeah, the
issue
trade.
Number 1, which is, as I put in the review, it makes for some amusing artwork.
Oh yeah, it's like 1970 something.
Some of the artwork's not that good.
It's pretty fun though.
Let me show you this one here, and I wish you viewers could see it, but that was
oh yeah, I know.
Famous. The cover is just
bad.
Incredible. Oh, it's bad. Princess Leia's looking pretty bad in this one. So I'm sorry, artist, whoever you are who did this. I'm sure you were under a rush and had a blast through it, but it was a lot of fun. And there's also actually probably there's a third story in here too. There's a Princess Leia takes off.
In the trade they include the first issue of her miniseries.
So it's got 3 stories in here. You get, of course, I think the best one is the post Jedi one with the cleaning up the Empire, the Shattered Remnants. And it's really good, really high action, and lining us up for the events for Force Awakens. And then, of course, the Princess Leia. The Princess Leia one was okay. I didn't know if it was really that necessary, and I was kind of like, okay, whatever. And of course, the reprint is classic Star Wars, so you can't lose there. It's worth it just to see that reprint. It's a lot of fun. And that's what I'm reading right now. That's by a whole bunch of artists in here.
Pandorica wrote.
Yeah, about Yachado and Zoida. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Again, I have a little trouble with that pronunciation of that last name. But good stuff. We've got, so that was a Star Wars con. We can't seem to get through an episode without Star Wars.
Because Star Wars is the best thing ever.
Yeah, it's how you always start off everything.
Duh.
You can't wake up in the morning without Star Wars in your day.
And then, not review, but there's a couple comic news things. Batwoman was just announced as she's going to be getting her own series, which is the second solo series. She had one in the New 52, but it didn't last very long, got canceled. So they're going to try again with another Batwoman series, which I think is good because Batwoman has been pretty forefront in the Detective Comics storyline they're doing, and I've enjoyed that series a lot. So it's nice to see kind of like some of the lesser-known Bat family members getting their time to shine.
I just want to mention, too, you're talking about that Batwoman. I've noticed on Twitter, she's really starting to trend up.
Which is weird, because like all of a sudden, a couple of years ago, they were like, oh, we haven't used Batwoman in a while, and then she just started popping up.
Yeah.
She that movie, they did an animated movie, Batman Bad Blood, which was the first time she appeared in a film, Batman-related. At least the Cassandra Cain version of her, and it was... I think it's nice to see some of the, like I said, those lesser... The Bat family, and they're bringing back Azrael, who hasn't been around since like the 90s.
Well, they're bringing the girls back.
Yeah,
that's yeah. It's largely in part, I believe, Harley Quinn is dragging them all back in. Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy, Batgirl. You're seeing that all together in Twitter. They're always together in some way.
Oh yeah, that's because they had a whole series together.
Yeah,
they had a comic series where there was
love it. So.
And Marvel things. Marvel, I don't know what they're doing. They just they're like throwing stuff at a dartboard over there. The thing, and I'm not trying to pick on them. I think I'm reading 20 different Marvel series right now, but it really feels like they're doing a series like they just canceled Ant-Man, Drax, Invincible Iron Man's coming to an end of its run, Venom, Space Knight's over, and it's almost like, do they even do ongoing series anymore, or do they just let something hit like issue 12 and then they start it over again with a new creative team? And it's really starting to make me angry because I really get invested. Like Vision ended, but that wasn't their fault. That was because King jumped over to DC to write Batman. But Ant-Man just ended, Drax just ended, and they wrap up their current storylines, but it feels like there's so much more they could do. And apparently now Venom is going to be on a different character, and it's not going to be set in space, which I think was one of the coolest things about the new Venom series was it was you're out there watching Venom fight aliens. It was awesome. And now they're just like, no, we're going to take Venom back to Earth, and he's going to be on a new character. They haven't announced who's going to be Venom now, but it's just like, can we not change everything every 6 months?
And 12 issues is just a few issues. On your way to another.
Yeah, and if it's bi-monthly, that's 6 months.
Yeah. So.
They got to get their stuff together over there.
What do you got next?
Well, we already talked about it a little bit. Hugh Jackman officially revealed the title of his last Wolverine movie.
Yep.
It's just called Logan, which I think is actually kind of nice. They haven't really revealed too much other than it's set, I think, 2024, I think, is the setting. We know he's going to be back for his last run. Patrick Stewart is going to be back again as Professor X.
Yeah, he's appearing all over now. Those pictures.
They just released the teaser image of Patrick Stewart, looking a little worse for wear, but you got
Stewart.
Yeah, you got to figure at this point within the context of X-Men, he's what, like 100?
Yeah.
So he's not looking too bad. They haven't explicitly said a lot, but from the casting decisions and little leak bits in there, it's safe to assume we're gonna finally see some of the more Logan get into more of his expanded element with things like X-23, his female clone, and Mr. Sinister is gonna be in there. And Mr. Sinister and Logan go way back. They did Wolverine Origin 2 a couple years ago, and Mr. Sinister was a big part of that. So him and Logan have over a century of history together. Yeah. And it's kind of cool to see these other aspects of Logan's past that we never really got brought into his actual storyline. And I think they're going out with a bang on this one. I think this one is going to be the nice big send-off for Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. And they said it's going to be rated R, so he's going to go full bore with the violence and the gore. And it's going to be that's the one thing. That's the only downside to the Wolverines we've seen in the past is he's always been kind of constrained by those PG-13 limits. Yep. But
want to sell action figures, But
yeah, they want to sell action figures,
so they don't need to sell anymore.
Yeah, but I think this one is going to be a nice cap off to Hugh Jackman's 17-year run as Wolverine.
Wow, I didn't. You don't know it's been that long.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, he's been running longer than some of the people have been reading
comics.
Some people have been alive.
Yeah.
He's been just doing the movies.
Yeah.
That's amazing. What do we think the kid is in the posters? We're seeing a little kid.
Well, it's tough to say, because in the Old Man Logan comic storyline, Wolverine actually did marry and have kids before, as Wolverine always has, tragedy strikes.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure it's going to be a biological... I'm sure he's going to wind up having to protect a kid. I don't know if it's going to be his
Whose kid is it? Yeah.
But it could be his. Like I said, he lives forever, and in the comics he's had dozens of kids because he's lived so long. So we'll see.
I always worry when I see a kid appear because I'm worried that they're going to try to focus on the kid. Now, this is Wolverine, and someone out there might be rolling their eyes and saying, no, they won't take it away. I've seen a bunch of movies in the past where they bring a kid in and they decide to focus on the kid who has all this power and stuff. I'm like, no.
Star Wars?
Kid. Oops, yeah. Well, that was a classic example. I mean, that was necessary, I think, but yeah, in that case. But I remember Battlestar Galactica did it years ago, and there were a couple others that were... In a larger sense, the third Road Warrior, that crazy Thunderdome, where they focused on all the kids, and that was all about the kids.
In Road Warrior, in the second one, there was the mute kid with the boomerang.
Well, he was cool though. He was a butt kicking kid.
Yeah.
He wasn't like a central plot. But anyway, I just hope they don't do too much with this guy. I want to see more Wolverine and some butt.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's PG-7 or
no,
R.
now it's rated R. Yeah. So I think, I said,
we'll hope.
Yeah. And Suicide Squad, in other movie news, is getting an extended cut. I'm happy in the sense that I really feel like a lot of the material that got cut would have helped the movie be better for general audiences. I enjoyed it. And I'm a little mad because they keep doing this. They did it with Batman vs. Superman, where we got a decent movie in theaters, and then the extended cut came out, and the extended cut was light years ahead of where the theatrical cut was. And I have a feeling that, I don't know if Suicide Squad will be light years better, but I think a lot of this additional footage from what they've teased with it is going to integrate a lot more of the Joker-Harley relationship and maybe some backstory for some of the other characters who didn't get as much time in the film. But they said this one, unlike Batman vs. Superman, which added a half hour, this one's only going to add about 15 minutes. But still, 15 minutes of footage could, make a movie.
Huge, yeah.
So I'm glad that we're getting some more Suicide Squad, but it's like, how about we just leave this stuff in and get a better movie the first time around?
Well, they got to sell DVDs. That's what they do.
No, I know it's
go to the theater, you get this. You buy the DVD, you get this, and then they get 2 sales.
Well, the funny thing is, it's really a DC thing because I don't think Marvel's ever done an extended cut for any of their Marvel Cinematic Universe movies.
Can't think off the top of my head.
In fact, you know what? I take that back. I know for a fact Marvel has never done an extended cut. They've had deleted scenes, but they've never done like Captain America: Civil War with 20 minutes of extra footage. Right. It's just, no, here's what didn't make the cut, and here's the movie.
Okay.
And I like extended cuts of movies, but I feel like I shouldn't watch the extended cut of a movie and think at the end of it, wow, I really wish that this is what I'd seen in theaters.
That was different. That sure changed
my opinion. Literally, Batman vs. Superman was an entirely different movie.
Yeah,
the extended cut was so much better.
A lot of talk online about that. There was other stuff that was in there that would have fixed it or something like
that. I watched it and I said it was a good movie, but it was really Batman heavy. And then a lot of the stuff that was cut was Superman as Clark Kent. And it's like, okay.
Well, again, I think that we may be stuck with that for now until.
We'll see. Well, we'll know. 2 movies I'll chalk up to coincidence. If it happens with Wonder Woman, that's when we know we have a trend. 2, I'll chalk up 2 as a coincidence.
I'm looking forward to that one though.
I think Wonder Woman's going to be fantastic.
It's going to be hot.
I think that's going to be nice because Jeff Johns, who's a big DC Comics guy, that's the first movie he's going to have his influence in. Because before it was all Zack Snyder was going to be in charge of this whole thing. And Zack Snyder's a nice guy, and he seems like he knows how to make a good movie here. But he's never done anything really DC comic heavy-wise. He's done comic stuff before. So once they announced that Jeff Jones was going to be kind of like the DC version of Kevin Feige over for Marvel, I was like, okay, that's what DC needed. And now I think with Wonder Woman and Justice League, we're really going to get to see his input into these movies. So I think that's going to be a nice
there's
change
a lot
of pace.
of anticipation on that Wonder Woman right now. Again, online you can see it's girls are coming up. The Wonder Woman, Poison Ivy. I would like to see. I would not be surprised if you see Poison Ivy suddenly come out of nowhere.
Well, she's in Gotham.
Big huge movie of her own. Wonder Woman does it because she's coming up.
Poison Ivy's never
up
really
the charts
been
with a bullet right
never
now.
been one to translate well into film. They did that awful Uma Thurman.
Thought it would have been
Poison
Harley
Ivy.
Quinn, and she got.
Oh, everybody loved Harley from the second she showed up. Poison Ivy is certainly a fun character in comic and animated form, but not translated well to live action. That awful Uma Thurman movie. But hey, they saved Bane. Bane was in that same movie, and then Tom Hardy knocked Bane out of the park. So
you never know. It depends on the writer, the actors. You get that right team together, and you can really do well. And as we've seen from the Aliens franchise, what happened with that? When you've got the right team together and it's fantastic, or you got the wrong team together and it's just embarrassing. You're like, my God, I can't.
Well, I mean, when you look at who did the first 2, I honestly don't know who directed 3 or 4. I can't tell you off the top of my head.
What was it? Was 4 the one?
4 was the god awful one, where like the half alien thing.
Oh, God. That was so. We almost walked out of that film.
But 1, Ridley Scott,
Yep.
who's fantastic,
Yeah.
and 2, James Cameron,
Yeah.
fantastic. And I can't tell you who directed 3 or 4. All I know is that I just remember 3 was like, whatever. I finished it. I was like, it was a movie.
I'd ask any of the listeners right now too. What did you think of that Aliens 1, 2, 3, and 4? If you want to put that up.
Yeah, well, the director's cut of 3 was much better. I like that.
3 could have worked, and you'll still see some stuff about 3 online. 4 nobody likes to talk about very much. 3.
I know a guy who 4 is his favorite movie.
Really?
I try to make him understand reason, but
no.
I talk to him every time, and I'm like, we were talking about Aliens. I remember the first time. And I go, oh yeah, Alien, great, Aliens, fantastic. 3, take it or leave it. And 4 was like the worst thing ever.
No sense.
He goes, 4, what are you talking about? 4's the best one. And my eyes almost pop out of my head. I'm like, are you kidding me now?
Maybe someone's going to comment. I love 4, and this is why. If you like 4, tell us why.
Well, the thing is, 4 had some cool elements to it. I like that they really went out of the way to make the aliens... They did it in 2 as well, where the aliens kind of had like a hive mentality and like were obstacle solving. But there's scene in 4 where all the aliens are locked in the jail cell, and then they all turn on the one because they have acid blood, so they rip it apart and it blows to the floor, and they all escape, and stuff like that was kind of cool. But there was just so much of that movie I really liked.
For me, it was kind of like the Velociraptor with the door handle thing in Jurassic Park, and then it was kind of like
I think
a gore fest.
Door handle is one thing. That's our dinosaur, the brain the size of this. This is like they realized, okay, we're stuck in a room. Our blood's, eats through anything. Kill Bob.
I think we should just get away from 4 forever. Just
Yeah.
put this thing in a box and bury it somewhere deep and just
We really
never
should.
think about it again. Sorry about that. I pulled you off.
That's all right.
Off topic in Alien 4. Good heavens. Off we go. Back to
tangent something. And I haven't seen it yet, but the trailer dropped for the last Planet of the Apes of the movie, A War for the Planet of the Apes.
I think it's just a few seconds.
Oh, just a few seconds? Okay.
Yeah, what I've seen so far is just the picture, just the image of
Caesar.
Yeah. And it's like snow on him or something.
Nuclear ash is what I heard.
Ash. I was like, okay, whatever. There's nothing going on.
I am looking forward to this movie. Yeah. I thought Rise of the Planet of the Apes was a nice kind of reset for the franchise. Yeah. And then Dawn, I thought that
was pretty good.
Was great.
I liked it. I was quite impressed with that.
And I think War is going to be even better.
Yeah, and the originals were great. I grew up on.
The originals are so hokey. It's awesome.
But they were great.
Definitely.
If anyone out there remembers the TV series, let us know too. If you remember that long TV series.
Uncle Larry has that on DVD.
Some great stuff. Some great hokey stuff. But there is a trailer. I just was reading today, somebody saw it, and they're talking about the trailer, but I don't think it's been dropped on us yet. If it has, it just happened, and we haven't even seen it. It's just coming out of the internet right now.
Yeah.
But the only thing we see, that 40-second long thing or whatever they've got with just the one image. Anyway, yeah, it looks like it's going to be hot. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Go right out of the theater and see that one.
And, the new Power Rangers posters are out. And everything I see about this movie just gets me progressively more and more worried. And when they said their Power Rangers reboot, I'm like, that could be fun. And then they released the character, like the big group photo, and I'm like, oh man, those suits do not look that great.
If the listeners haven't figured this out yet, by now, Tom is like the biggest Power Rangers fan
I can actually, at one point, I could name all the series in chronological order.
So he's very upset by this.
I'm like, okay, whatever. I don't like the suits that much, but let's see where they go with it. And then they released the Zords and the new Power Coins, and I'm like, it's one thing to tweak I'm all for updating the source material. I understand you need to. It's been 20 years, 25 years. Yeah. So I understand the need. You want to update the look, keep it a little fresh. It's one thing to update it. It's another thing to just go to left field completely.
Hardcore costumes.
Because
you mentioned those costumes are like way different.
They're like Iron Man suits. They're like whatever. So I'm like, and then at least the pictures of the Zords, and the Zords even look like giant weird robots, not really even like the dinosaurs are supposed to look like. And I'm just like, and then they released another set of posters for each individual character where they're like kind of like in a fighting pose thing, and they're like got these blurry streaks through them. I'm like, this looks like the RoboCop remake posters. And the RoboCop remake was like one of the biggest travesties ever.
You're really upset about this, too.
And I really am, because I think it's just going to be like a big blockbustery studio like saying, this is what teenage kids want to watch now, and it's
They're
not a Power Rangers
with your
movie.
childhood, and
They are. They're messing with my childhood.
People who grew up in the 90s.
It's like they're just calling it Power Rangers to have a brand name behind it, but it's really like, here's what we think is popular with teenagers these days, and we're going to throw it into a movie and call it Power Rangers.
We don't want to miss out on Iron Man. So.
And I'm like, why? I'm still going to go see it
happens.
because I'll review it for the site and everything, but everything I see is just getting me
frustrated
more and more nettled.
Your childhood's going down the toilet from the 90s. What do you got next there?
That's all for movies and TV. I have a new board game this week. My board game is Sentinels of the Multiverse. It's actually a collectible card game, not really a board game, but it's the same thing. Basically, it's made by, it's an actual comic company, and it's based off all their comic characters. And it's, there's up to 5 people, it's 2 to 5 players. You each pick a superhero as your character, and you all fight a supervillain.
Cool.
And it's a cooperative game, and the supervillain can spawn minions, and the environment will have, play into it. So, the 4 areas are, Mars, Atlantis, Land of the Lost kind of place where dinosaurs are still around. And it's difficult. It says 2 to 3 or 2 to 5 players, but I can't see beating a supervillain with 2 players unless you're really, really good. So, but it's a lot of fun, and I love comics anyway, so that's why this one jumped out to me, and I grabbed it. And but it's a nice, fun, quick game to play with your friends.
Cool. What's the name of it once more?
Sentinels of the Multiverse.
Sentinels of the Multiverse. We'll have all the links up at the bottom of this podcast. If you scroll down, you'll see links to everything. And no games for me. Are you reading any books? Or you got any more?
I got a game though.
Oh, got another game. I'm sorry.
Gears of War 4. Well, this is a video game.
Yeah.
Gears of War 4 drops on the 11th, I believe.
I'll check that one.
Yes, because it's this coming up Tuesday, which is the 11th.
Yep.
And I was a little bit... Are
you going to stay out till midnight waiting?
No, I got to wait till I get paid on the 14th. But I was a little concerned when they announced 4, because the ending of 3 kind of wrapped everything up in a nice little bow. Mm-hmm. You played as Marcus and Dom through this whole trilogy of games. You watched them fight the Locusts, and it wrapped up in this nice kind of bittersweet ending. And I was like, oh, that was nice. And I heard rumblings when 4 was first coming out that I'm like thinking to myself, do we really need to do a 4th game? When they said it was going to be Gears of War 4, I'm like, okay, is it going to be 4 chronologically, or is it just set within the universe? Mm-hmm. And then no, they said it is set 25 years after, and it's a sequel to the other games. And I was a little worried at first, but the more and more I saw of it, the more and more this is the opposite of the Power Rangers thing, where the more I saw of it, the more I thought, this is really cool. They were like, the first game of Gears of War had this really, it was a big action-y shooter game, but there was also this really creepy kind of horror-y element to it. And there was some really slow-paced levels, like the Emulsion Factory, which were really unsettling, environmentally creepy stuff. Yep. And 2 and 3 kind of got more into just the big shoot-'em-up action set pieces. But it looks like this one is going back to more of that horror-y suspense, kind of what's coming around the corner at me roots. And you don't know what the enemies are, and so I think this one will be fun. So once I get paid on the 14th on Friday, I'll definitely be picking up Gears of War 4.
I was just looking up some news on it. They're saying, who is this? GameSpot.com is saying some Gears of War 4 Ultimate Edition orders on Amazon delayed. Ultimate Edition orders on Amazon will be delayed, impacting early access. If you want to just check out GameSpot, I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. It looks like it's still coming out on Tuesday. Columbus Day might be tying things down a little bit, but but it looks like it's going to be hot. And they've got the the videos and the.
It's kind of crazy. Not only that, but the voice cast is crazy. Liam McIntyre, for anyone who watched Spartacus, he's going to be voicing the new main character, who's the son of Marcus. Mm-hmm. And oh my goodness, the guy's name is escaping me at the moment. Eugene something, but he plays Dr. Clark Edison on Bones, and he's going to be voicing another character who's friends with the main guy. And I think this one's going to shape up to be a pretty fun new kickoff point for the Gears franchise.
It should be hot. It'll probably
it's the two big staples for Xbox are like Gears
of War,
Halo.
Is it a midnight release too?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. We got to drive by GameSpot or GameStop.
Oh, I remember the Halo. The Halo 5 was a madhouse.
With people lining
up. Or not Halo 5, Halo 4.
Winter too, wasn't it? Like
October.
Freezing.
Yeah, it was cold.
That night.
Stupid me. I was standing in the cold.
I did it for Van Halen tickets. Yeah. Don't feel bad. So I know what that's like. I remember standing. One of the worst I've ever done was Ozzy, and I won't tell you when because I'll be dating myself. But I stood in the freezing cold trying to get tickets for that show. Anyway, that's pretty cool. Though we got the Gears of War coming. We got a midnight release with all kinds of cool stuff. Dress up in your favorite cosplay outfit and go stand.
It'd be tough to do for Gears. You have to be in some big armor.
You won't be able to get through the door.
I'm coming for my game.
Or better yet, you order it online.
Can you hand it to me through the door, please?
What else have you got? You got
that's it for me. I'm kind of tapped. Yeah,
you're loaded this week with all kinds of good stuff.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I wasn't doing as much as I could have been at work.
Somebody
it's a slow day.
Anything but work. I'm listening to a band here. Let me see what I want. I'm trying to do this without screwing up the pronunciation. I'm going to try this. Shylmagoghnar.
Oh my God!
If I'm saying that right.
Shylmagoghnar.
Shylmagoghnar, I think. It's a northern. I apologize. Anyway, it's metal. It's heavy, very heavy stuff. The album is Emergence, and it's all over YouTube, and it's a pretty good album if you like heavy stuff. I would say it's described as atmospheric, melodic, black, and death from the Netherlands.
So, well, if that doesn't sell you, I don't know what will.
And not your dad's metal, but pretty good stuff. It's dark, heavy, lots of guitars, chugging, great stuff to work out to. And I always try to find a band to link up with a sci-fi, fantasy, horror feel while we're going. And this is one of them. I really liked it. And so that's what we're listening to this week. Again, we'll put that up on the site. Wait till you see the spelling on this name. It's a little tricky. But
it looks like some spell from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, and I hope I'm saying that right.
The key to get into Moria.
Do apologize to the band in advance in case I screwed that up. Shylmagoghnar, if it might be a different pronunciation, but it does look like something like Gandalf would have went up against in the Lord of the Rings. In shows, what are we doing? I'm still on Clone Wars. I'm on season 4 now, which is
okay. Chugging along.
I got through, and I'm not going to give too much away here. I don't think it's not that big of a worry, but. Of course, anytime you see two Sith together, somebody's going to turn on somebody. So Ventress goes after, or Dooku goes after Ventress, doesn't get the job done. Ventress comes back, goes after Dooku. There's a fight back and forth. We bring in another Sith trainee under Ventress to go after Dooku. Yeah, he's a bigger Darth Maul, and this really cool 3-way fight starts, and it's pretty good action.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of the animation style of Clone Wars per se, but the fight scenes
are really fantastic. Good. And you look at them really close, and you think, well, these are cartoons. No, they're really good. The fight scenes are excellent. The three of them duking it out.
Especially
and then you got the Jedi in there too.
Savage has got that double-bladed lightsaber again, just like Darth Maul.
It's like Darth Maul, but they don't cheese it up. They don't ruin it by saying, "Oh, we're going to do Darth Maul 2." This guy's pretty cool, and he has his own personality, and it's
Clancy Brown. It's the Kurgan.
Yeah, so it's really cool. It's the Kurgan, and so it's doing. It starts out good, and then it gets a little odd. There's a couple things that we're in right now. C-3PO and R2-D2 are running around on these planets, encountering these strange.
Yeah, I was never a big fan of C-3PO and R2 episodes.
Scratching my head on that one. It's a little like okay, we need some time to put up some more good episodes. Let's just do something with the droids in
yeah, it's like they almost know we have to space out a whole season, so let's kind of pad the middle.
It's not. I was kind of like, oh, a little surprised. This is the first time since I've been watching this whole series that I've been kind of like, oh, okay. I mean, it wasn't bad. It just wasn't great. It was like, okay, that's all right.
I'm just telling you, wait till you get to season 6.
Yeah, it's getting. You can see it's
so good.
It's going to be hot when they bring all the main characters back in again, and it's good. I like Clone Wars. I think it's definitely worth a watch. If you have not done Clone Wars yet, definitely watch it. And I'm again in season 4 now. What did you
I checked out. I've watched the first episode of Luke Cage.
Okay.
I'm trying to pace myself on this one so I don't blow through it all in like a day.
You didn't binge watch?
No, I resisted the urge because the first episode was definitely very cool. Mm. It's odd because it's got almost like a Daredevil vibe in the sense because Daredevil was very street level, like grimy kind of thing. So Jessica Jones had it too. but it's also a totally new spin on it because it's from the perspective of Luke Cage. He's in a black neighborhood in Harlem,
Yep.
so it's just, you know, stuff that Daredevil and Jessica Jones are never going to have to deal with.
Yep.
You're seeing Luke not only reacting to him and his powers and his situation, but the growing neighborhood tensions, and it's very real world in that sense. It's like it's like a dude with superpowers in Harlem. In like now, it's like what do you do? Do you go around helping people? Do you stay out of the way? Do you keep it to yourself? And it's got a very, very atmospheric vibe.
And everybody's
really
got
cool.
their own agenda.
Everyone's got their. There's a whole bunch of stories going on. The villain for this season, Cottonmouth, he's got it just like Vincent D'Onofrio and David Tennant on Daredevil and Jessica Jones. He's instantly got charisma. He comes on the screen and you're hooked.
Yeah.
And there's some great cinematography they do with him that just like they frame it so well, and it's fantastic.
Is that
and I'm
Netflix again?
Yes,
Yeah,
Netflix
amazing.
again.
Just here we go again.
Yeah, Netflix. And but yeah, only one episode in so far, but it's a great start to the series, and it's setting up a lot of fun stuff. There's a couple nods to Luke Cage's eventual future that I think is going to be great. And the funny thing is, just like I'm watching this and I'm thinking I cannot wait for Iron Fist to come out so the two of them can finally get together, just like in the comics.
Yep. No, that's excellent. I've heard, and with all the hype up to this Luke Cage, it was months of hype, and now it's hit.
It's nice to see. It's funny because when something has this much hype, it can either going to live up to it or it's going to disappoint the crap out of you.
Yeah.
And luckily, every Netflix season so far has lived up to its hype.
Somebody knows what they're doing over there, and it's, again, we talked about this a couple episodes now. It's so exciting to be a geek and a nerd at a time when you've got this many companies throwing stuff out there for you. We got Netflix, we got Amazon, we've got Hulu, we've got the theaters, we've got all these new comics. I mean, it's just a tidal wave of fun every day.
And Funimation just started a streaming service for all their anime, so Dragon Ball Z, everything they own, Naruto.
Did they hook up with Toonami? Is that the ones who did?
Toonami was
someone else.
Funimation. A lot of Funimation stuff was on Toonami.
Okay, because I know there was a hookup. Somebody got together with someone else.
But man, that was, speaking of being a nerd, Toonami when I was a kid was like the greatest thing ever. It was just like hit after hit after hit. It was like Dragon Ball Z, Gundam Wing, Tenchi Muyo, Robotech. It's just like just epic show after epic show after epic show.
I remember wading through Dragon Ball Z cards.
I did have a lot. I think I still have a good chunk of those. Yeah.
Good chunk of cards, and it was fun. Dragon Ball Z was a thing for you guys. The kids.
That actually and that's another thing. The new Dragon Ball Z game comes out October 25th.
Great.
I will also be grabbing that because I am an addict and I need to feed my habit.
That's gonna be.
But it looks really cool. It really is fun to see like all this, especially now with like the hardware for games that we have now. Like if 10-year-old me could see like the Dragon Ball Z games that are going to be out now, his head would explode.
Any VR stuff coming out? With
there's a whole slew of VR stuff's coming out because PSVR is coming out pretty soon.
Okay.
I know that Drive Club is getting a VR. Batman Arkham, or I know it's Arkham Knight maybe, is getting a VR thing. I'll definitely check that out once it comes out. I'm a little skeptical because some of the stuff that's coming out of VR, like Alien Isolation. I think playing Alien Isolation in VR
in the dark
would kill me.
Oh my god!
I would literally have a heart attack.
Yeah. or like Silent Hill or something.
I play these games. God. I always play these games like at midnight anyway, like by myself. But it's like I had to play them in like 20-minute snippets, put the controller down for a minute, and like rock myself for a little bit. Like it's just a game.
Stop my teeth from chattering.
I like playing this in VR. I literally think I would scream like a little girl.
Honest to God.
At the alien would come around the corner and just controller.
Oops, we knocked the mic. Sorry about that, folks. We knocked the mic. We got so excited.
That's what happened.
And I'll tell you, the VR for me is so exciting. It's so exciting because it's a whole new realm of possibilities that we're going into.
We're a step closer to the holodeck from Star Trek.
Holodeck. We're getting there, and we're going to be in 3-dimensional. We're going to be all kinds of cool stuff in another. Just imagine where we're going to be in 10 more years. Between and what's kind of funny? Quick side note: you see the technology coming down the road, and I'm seeing more and more because I watch like some of the game sites like Game Express or Bell of Lost Souls, who covers the board games, Board Game Geek. Board Game Geek? I apologize if I got that name. But the board game sites, and there's more and more articles coming up with 3D printing software where you can print out all your own stuff now, and it's so cool. So if you're into board games, like we are, you can print out all your own figures or custom figures, which is so cool. And you just get the printer and print it out. Or, now with the video games, you can do VR. So it's a whole new dimension of fun. And again, it's a great time to be alive and be a geek or a nerd. And again, I didn't mean to pull you too far off that. Just it's another great month for video games because we've got with Call of Duty and now.
I think Battlefield might be this month too.
Battlefield.
Or Battlefield might be next month. It's either this month or next month. One of the two.
I think it's this month. I can't remember. It's going to be huge. Battlefield is so big, and there's so many people talking about Battlefield. So it's a really good time. They're getting all these games ready for Christmas, and it's going to be great to see. You got anything else you're playing? Video games?
That's it for me right now.
I'm gonna jump really quick into a book here. I picked up a horror anthology called Amid the Recesses. Again, we'll have that link up. And it's a short story collection of fear. It's Amid the Recesses, a short story collection of fear by J.A. Crook. And pretty good. Short and pretty cheap on Kindle, as you'll see. It's free. Free is good. And I just noticed that. I thought he was charging, but I thought I'd pay a little bit for this, but who knows. It's got 12 or 13 stories, and it's got a preview to the next book he's putting out. Good little stuff. If you like your horror, Halloween's here. This is October, Halloween month. Great little book to pick up. Short stories, pretty creepy stuff. Some are better than others, but there's some good stuff. I put a review up on the site. A lot of these things we've covered, we actually have reviewed on the site previously. We got into more discussion about them. A few things are brand new. But this one I had read, and I just wanted you to know about it. Because I think it's worth, hey, it's free, and let's take a look at it and give this guy a shot. And hopefully he'll get some. Maybe we got the next Stephen King or Dean Koontz. And one more thing I'm also looking at here, which I had a chance to look at in advance, was a movie, a sci-fi movie about the future, a future where everybody's pretty much wiped out. It's called Pandorica. And I always want to pronounce that right. Again, I hope I'm saying that right too. And that's by, oh goodness me, I'm trying to find out who. I'm having, again, a mind blank, and I'm looking for it right now. But anyway, Pandorica is a short film, about an hour and something, set in the future. It's a tribe who they're sending out 3 of their young people to go through a series of trials in the forest, and whoever survives can be the next leader. And this is how they always do things. And so I watched the whole thing, and I'd been kind of looking forward to seeing this movie because I'd seen some build up to it and some stuff, and I got a chance to watch the whole thing. It's a fun little movie. It's a little rough around the edges. There's some. It's very simple. It's very simply done. I think they spent $70,000. I don't know if that's in pounds or dollars, but they didn't spend much on it, and it's got some incredible scenery. So they did everything pretty much in the same area. The scenery is incredible. It's up in the woods. They use drones for some of it. They have flyovers and just beautiful, beautiful scenery. The music's really good. Costumes are kind of cool. They're painted up. There's another tribe, without giving too much away, there's another tribe these guys run into who are in these masks, and the masks are really cool. And I don't want to give too much away. We also covered this on the site. And it's a great mask if you can get it for Halloween. I think that's one of the things that lured me into this. And I think, oh, cool, Halloween's coming. Look at that mask. So I watched the thing. It had a few holes in it. Tom, you haven't seen it yet. Eventually, you'll get a chance to see it. I wish I had more time. I would have liked both of us to see this.
All right.
But it had it had some spots that could have been a little better. At one point, they were in the woods, and they run into the first person they run into, and they just kind of go past, like walk on by. I'm like, wait a minute, what just happened there? And it was a little rough around the edges at times, but overall, if you're into some simple sci-fi, a simple plot, simple layout, few fight scenes, a little bit of fun, I would recommend it. It's getting mixed reviews online. Look at some of the reviews on IMDb, and some people really don't like it, and some people said this is great. And I'm kind of in the middle. I like again, the scenery, the music, some of the things that was going on. The storyline's kind of cool. I would have liked to see more on this. And apparently there is a prequel comic or something that's out there, and I've gotten very little info on this, and I really want to get more.
That seems to be a big trend now, is doing prequel comics for stuff.
But I was looking all over the place for it, and I saw it mentioned on Twitter and a few other places, but I never saw the comic, and I think I would have known and liked it a little more had I known about it. And I kept thinking Animatrix.
Animatrix was so good.
Yeah, which was like, wow. When you saw the Matrix, it was like, wow, this is good. And then you saw Animatrix, and like, wow, now I really get it.
Every segment of Animatrix was fantastic.
It was dark and scary too. Animatrix was,
the Matrix was
almost as good as the Matrix.
The Matrix itself was pretty dark.
Animatrix was really disturbing.
Oh yeah, but the Animatrix took it to a new level.
Disturbing stuff. And I wonder if that would have been the case with this little comic here, because I know they were given some of the comics out for whatever reason, promotion or something. And I would like to see more. I felt like the movie was fun. I'm not a really harsh critic on this kind of thing, so I just want to have fun with it. And I found myself thinking about it after it was done. And I said, okay, that's why I liked it, because I'm still thinking about the movie. If I watch a movie and I immediately forget about it right after I watch it, I'm like, I don't care. I'm never going to watch it again. But this had some elements that it could go farther. I know they're making another one. They already said they're going to make another Pandorica in the series, and I would like to see them kind of almost remake this one a little bit and clean it up a little bit more and add some more to the storyline. That's all. I don't mean to push too much on Pandorica, but it's going to be interesting to see how this goes, because it's really got some reviews here are not particularly friendly, and some of them are really like, we loved it. And again, I'm more toward the like side. I would recommend it. It could be a lot of fun. If you don't want high tech and no CGI, very very cheaply made, but it seemed to work for me. What else we got? Cons. Of course we're doing the conventions, traveling all over the place right now, hitting cons all. And I've been to, just myself, I went to Verona Scaricon in Verona, New York, and that was great. Tons and tons of horror up there, lots of fun. And then over to Uticon in Utica, and then in between that I went to something else. Those are the two I'm thinking of. There's a TerrorCon coming up in what are we going to be there? We're going to be TerrorCon tomorrow in Johnson City, New York. Check that out. Terror Expo. I apologize. Terror Expo. Came from Uticon, went to Verona Scaricon and Robercon in Binghamton. So a lot of good cons coming up. Glad to see that going on, because there's so much. There's still a lot of activity out there. People want this stuff. They like sci-fi, fantasy, and horror. The horror crowd is rabid when it comes to cons. Boy, it was packed. It was at the casino, Turning Stone Casino up in Mid-State New York. And a lot of people, a lot of really cool costumes. A lot of pictures online if you want to take a look at them. If you go online, do the little search bar at the top right-hand corner for Verona Scaricon, or just any of the cons, you'll see a bunch of that we've been to. We also have a list of all the conventions we're going to be at, one or more of us at least, and that's under Sci-Clops tour dates on the right-hand side. So we just let people know, if you're out there, let us know, so we want to meet you. And if anything we're talking about in here too, let us know in the comments. If we've been talking about the aliens, we've been talking about Star Wars, some of the stuff we liked, some of the stuff we didn't like.
Hit the Twitter account.
Twitter account, yeah. Let us know what you think in the comments, and we could really use some more input from you guys. Let us know what you want to see or want to hear about. And do you got anything else you want to cover this week, or anything?
I don't know. I think I hit everything big I was wanting to talk about.
I'm trying to think of any other big news. We did the Planet of the Apes. That's going to be hitting probably in the next week or two. Well, I think that trailer should drop very soon.
Yeah, that'll be pretty fun.
And there was a bunch of one more thing. The Stranger Things is some news hit tonight. We've got from a couple of the big sites that dropping news, and I picked up some of that. And there's some big news on Stranger Things, some real big spoilers coming out. And one of them I can tell you, which I'll give, without giving anything away, it's pretty obvious. 11 will be back. Duh. 11 will be back. But there's something else going on with Barb, and so if you want to check that out, you Stranger Things fans will be like interested in this news, to say the least. So I'm trying to think. That's about it. Let us know what if you like this. Let us know kind of what we're talking about. We'd love to hear your input on some of the topics we're covering. Again, we're on Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook. We got the website at Sci-Clops.com, and we can always use some more subscribers on the podcast. And
tell your friends,
tell your mom, tell everybody you know, tell your dog, whatever you got to do.
Dogs are strong.
Any other news we want to cover? I think that's about it for now. So we'll let you go. We'll do a semi-short podcast here, and we'll see you very shortly with another one. In the meantime, keep the geek.
Keep the geek.
And we'll see you next week.
Have a good one, everybody.